Own sweet home, on sweet home. I dream of my own sweet home. Right here, right now. Amit Inamdar will show you how. Call Amit and you're set. Or just visit onsweethome.net.
DRE license number 01355522 and NMLS number 236574.
वेलकम दोस्तों, मैं हूं हरलीन और आप सबका मैं स्वागत करती हूं ऑन पावर आवर विद अमित इनामदार. यस, यू आर गोइंग टू गेट पावर पैक 30 minutes of information on real estate contingencies today. But if you have any questions relating to I'm sorry, मैं बहुत ज़्यादा excited हो रही हूँ मुझे लगता है. What I want to really say is अगर आपके पास कोई भी question हो real estate को related, आप हमें call कर सकते हैं 510-770-1550. हमारे साथ है अमित इनामदार, who has been in this business for more than a decade and he's seen the highs and the lows. अगर आप for some reason you can't actually come on the line, all you have to do is get onto the website, which is onsweethome.net. You'll find a tab where you can actually post a question and we will take that up online. Also, if you want to reach Amit, all you have to do is call him 510-364-6686. और अगर आप सब कुछ भूल जाते हैं कि यार क्या था वेबसाइट क्या था, all you have to do is just type in Amit Inamdar on Google and you'll find him up there. So let's start off the show by welcoming Amit. Amit, welcome to your show.
Hey, thank you, Harleen, and hello, friends. Own Sweet Home. Welcome to my show, Power Hour with Amit Inamdar. I know many of you who are in the market right now may be frustrated writing offers after offers after offers, not understanding what contingencies mean, and maybe taking some risks there. And I just want to let you know that if you are in the market looking for a home and frustrated with the number of offers you already written, do come by and I'll give you the right guidance so that you get your home within next month. So today I'm actually going to talk about the contingencies, and as you know they are very important and you have to get familiarized yourself with the contingency clauses. They are not only used to protect you but also are used as a good negotiations tool. Using them as a negotiations tool is a skill I effectively use to negotiate the terms and the price of the home. Other times they're just used to just protect the buyer and seller interest. A contingency is a future event or a circumstance that is possible but cannot be predicted with certainty. Just to kind of make it easier, I look at contingencies as a condition in a real estate contract. Typically, when you buy goods from a store, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. Imagine you got that when you bought the house. You can return the house in 30 days if you didn't like it. But that would be a very complicated transaction to unwind. And that's why you actually do all your 30-day analysis, all your 30-day investigation before you actually buy the house. So that's what basically the contingencies are going to help you with.
It's a very very important topic, Amit, and मुझे लगता है कि ये शो काफी हमारे listeners को benefit करेगा. So what kind of contingencies exist in the real estate contract today?
Right, understand. So to understand the impact of contingencies, it is necessary to know that when you actually make an offer, you are putting down 3% of your money as a deposit towards the home purchase. And protecting your deposit is very important, and contingencies protect your deposit from future unforeseen events while you are doing the investigations. Typical contingencies buyers may have are like loan contingency, appraisal contingency, inspection contingency, seller disclosures contingencies, maybe other disclosure contingencies. You may have a contingency related to title report, or you may actually owning a home right now and you want to upgrade to a bigger, better home, and you may have a contingencies to sell your home before you can buy the other one. So the contingencies can take any form and you can put any contingency as you want, as long as the other party is able to or willing to accept that. Even sellers have contingencies sometimes, and they will say, I will not sell even though I accept your offer unless I find a home that I like, that I am going to move into. Or they may say, I will only sell provided you give me a rent back of certain time, so I find extra time to find the home. So the contingencies can come from multiple parties in the contract itself.
Got it. But what do they really mean? कि contingency का मतलब क्या होता है? Can you share an example with us maybe?
Sure. Harleen, the loan contingency means if you buy a home, when you're actually writing an offer and you want to buy a home, and you say, I'll buy the home only if my loan is approved. Imagine you're putting down 3% of your deposit and you say, my loan is going to get approved. And I'm a really good guy, and my credit scores are great, my bank balances are great, and something happens. Maybe your tax returns are complicated and they actually cause you not to qualify. Those things may happen with people, and you don't know what underwriter is completely looking for. So this is like an unknown that's going to happen in future. So you basically say, I have a loan contingency, and it's a condition that basically says, unless my loan is approved, I'm not going to buy the home. So I had a situation actually where my buyer got laid off on the 25th day of the contract. And lucky for him, he had told me that there was something going on in the company and he wasn't sure. He was already in the contract. So what I did was I said, when is the decision going to be made about layoffs? And he had told me the timeline. And I kind of delayed removing the contingencies, not knowing what will happen. And actually he did get laid off. And lucky for him, we had not removed the contingencies. And I had used my knowledge to extend them one way or the other. And he was able to get his deposit back, and we found him a home right after he found another job, which was another couple of months. But that's how the situation can unfold. And I already told you about the seller has to find the home. A seller can have that contingency. Otherwise, your sale will not compete. So in case of these contingencies, one party may get affected and one party may get benefited. So it depends on what the contingencies are.
Got it. मुझे लगता है कि Amit, you mentioned something very important कि because of your experience you could actually foresee some things and you kept those contingencies. I think that's very very important in real estate today, because कई बार first time buyers को तो समझ नहीं होती कि करना क्या है. So getting an experienced person like you on board as a team member, that's really really helpful. You also mentioned something on appraisal contingency. Now why is that so important?
Just like we talked about loan that said, unless my loan is approved, I won't buy the home. Similarly, when you have an appraisal contingency, you are basically telling the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, if the house does not appraise, means the value of the house doesn't, by a professional evaluator, like we talked about whole show last week, does not come up to the price I'm paying, I don't feel comfortable buying the home. Imagine, you paying $750,000 for a home when the house is really worth $650,000. You will feel stupid to kind of pay that high. Now this market is different and people may still do that, but you have to look at it from the risk management standpoint. If you don't have that kind of money, you may actually lose your deposit just because you didn't have an appraisal contingency, and then because of the appraisal being low, your loan didn't get approved. And people will sometimes try to mix and match these contingencies, but a good realtor on the other side, if they figure it out, they will actually dispute your deposit. I remember last year we used the appraisal contingency. Actually, not last year. This is last August, actually. Yeah, that was last year, sure. It feels like, I'm in the new year already. All right. So we reduced the price by $15,000, just because we had the appraisal contingency. And the other agent did not ask us to remove it, and we didn't want to remove it. So that's a buyer got benefited. So you have to really carefully craft the purchase contract so that the other party doesn't quite suspect your intentions. Okay, so it's not just fill in the blanks. It is a lot of strategy that goes into effect when you do that. See, another reason the appraisal contingency becomes important is when lender is approving your loan, they will give you the loan based on the appraised value. Let's say you gave 50,000 above asking, so instead of a 500,000 you paid 550, and the appraisal came in at 500,000. And the lender is going to give you 80% loan based on that 500,000. So he gives you the loan of only 400,000. Now it's your job to put that extra $150,000 to buy that house. But you had an appraisal contingency. You can actually tell the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, the house is not worth what I'm paying you. So I want you to reduce the price. He may not reduce the price to the level that you want at 500,000, but at least he may reduce it come halfway, because he's going to get his money in the next 15 days. Otherwise, he has to put the property back on the market, and the new buyer may still face the same problems. So it's always good to have contingencies. And imagine, if you lose the house because seller refuses to lower the price, or he can't get a loan, the frustration that the buyer has to go through because you see your dream slipping away.
Yeah, my God. I can't even imagine. It will be devastating for the family to lose their dreams, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But look at it this way. They could have made a mistake of overpaying for the home. Okay, if they did not have the appraisal contingency, their loan would be rejected due to low appraised value. They would have lost their earnest money deposit along with it. So at least, it's kind of hard to see people go through the losing their dream house, but at the same time, imagine, they lost the dream house and lost the deposit, that would be even more devastating. So it's a good thing to have these contingencies in place. So let's talk about also the inspection contingency. Typically, when you purchase a home or you want to sell your home, you will do some basic inspections like property, termite, and roof inspection, and they're very typical. Property inspection is like a general property inspection that checks for many aspects of the property, ranging from electrical, plumbing, HVAC systems, chimney. They also look for leaks, for example, check appliances such as dishwasher, garbage disposal, and also look for any kind of unauthorized improvements in the house. These inspectors kind of know something that is done with a skill contractor, or something that is just being put together by somebody who doesn't know what the building codes are, and they will actually check for all that. And they will also find out if they see something, because they can look at small things and they can figure out there may be a bigger problem may exist behind it. They may look at the way the plumbing flow sounds and they may figure out there may be a leak in the plumbing. And similarly, last year I remember they found a small dot on the ceiling, and behind that there was mold. Mm-hmm. And when we did the mold inspection, the estimates came around $12,000 to kind of remediation expenses. And at that point, seller had no choice but to actually clear all that, and the remediation cost was paid by the seller. So imagine, if you didn't have that inspection contingency, you would have moved into the home and you would have had a health problem, because some of the molds can be toxic, and the toxic molds may cause headaches, may even cause death. And those spores in the air are very dangerous depending on the type of mold there is.
Got it. तो जितने भी हमारे लिसनर्स हैं, मैं जल्दी से बता दूं, आप सुन रहे हैं पावर आवर विद अमित इनामदार. बात हम लोग बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट कर रहे हैं, दैट इज रियल एस्टेट कंटिंजेंसीज के बारे में. If you have any real estate related question, you can give us a call right now. Studio line का number है 510-770-1550. All you have to do is just call in and ask your question, and we have an expert over here who will answer all your real estate questions. For some reason, if you can't call in, you can always go on his website, which is ownsweethome.net, and you'll find lot of information actually over there. Also, you can just Google Amit Inamdar and you'll find all his information right there, or give him a call at 510-364-6686. बहुत सारी information हम लोग gather कर रहे हैं और आपको देने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. अगर आपके पास कोई भी सवाल हो, you can always tune in and call us. एक जो मुझे दिमाग में क्वेश्चन आ रहा है कि इतने सारे घपले होते हैं, तो maybe you can buy maybe a new home, but let's take this call and then come back to this question. Hello, you're on air.
Hi, this is Kumar here. I want to know, I bought a condo last year and I had the PMI on my, that time when I took it, I took the PMI because I paid 5% this thing.
Right.
So what is the process to remove that PMI? If my house has some appraisal, it's appraised a little bit, so what is the process to remove that? Okay. Do I need to refinance, or what is the process for that?
Right. Yes, Kumar. So a refinancing can get rid of the PMI, and assuming your home value has gone up. Now, typically somebody will say that unless you have a 20% equity in the house, you can't refinance without a mortgage insurance, and that means your house must have gone up 4 times of the down payment they already paid, and that may not be the case, or if that's the case, that's an easy solution. If you have less than that, or maybe up to 90% or maybe 85%, the home is gone up, you have loan amount compared to the current value, then it's possible to do a no MI loan, and it depends on what kind of property you have, what kind of loans you currently have, and we will actually translate this loan with refinancing into a no mortgage insurance loan. So why don't you give me a call after the show, and I will walk you through the process, and if required, we can actually start your refinancing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks Kumar for calling. तो अगर आपके पास भी कोई सवाल है इस तरह का, you can always give us a call at 510-770-1550. हम लोग एक जल्दी से एक मैसेज बनाते हैं, and let's just come back right after that. So stay tuned.
Have you joined the Happily Ever After Club?
Happily Ever After Club?
हाँ, Happily Ever After Club. Membership is automatic once you buy your dream home from Amit Inamdar. He is both real estate and mortgage broker. One stop, no need to shop.
Oh, Amit Inamdar from Own Sweet Home.
Yes, that's Amit from OWN Own Sweet Home. Call him today, 510-364-6686. Again, 510-364-6686. Or visit ownsweethome.net. That is ownsweethome.net. Number 013555522 and MLS 236574.
वेलकम बैक दोस्तों, आप सुन रहे हैं पावर आवर विद अमित इनामदार. हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं कंटिंजेंसीज की, और मेरा क्वेश्चन आपके साथ ये था अमित कि इतनी सारी जब प्रॉब्लम होती है एक एग्जिस्टिंग होम में, सो वुडंट इट बी बेटर जस्ट टू गो इन फॉर अ न्यूअर होम?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at it this way. Newer homes are going to have fewer issues. Okay. However, look at the Bay Area. You know, the newer homes, where are they? They are close to freeways, they are close to railway lines. I mean, I know some of the developments are in between the railway lines, you know. I mean, imagine two railways kind of going, trains going at the same time, you know.
You always feel you're traveling somewhere.
Right. And I mean, if you look at like areas like, for example, near Sunnyvale Temple, right? We have all these industrial areas getting converted into the condos and townhomes and things like that. So you have to kind of give up something to buy that new home, especially in the Bay Area. And but at the same time, the right thing to do is to make sure you complete all the evaluations for the home. I mean, not get scared because of all these things. And that's why we are here for. You know, we are going to make sure all the information that you need about the home, you are going to get before you commit to buying the house. And that commitment happens when you actually remove the contingencies. So I will tell you about this newer homes, okay? I have had a situation where a new home, we had it inspected and we found termite issues on the wood member that was in the rafter.
Oh, wow.
So the constructions worker don't know what is like a wood that is infected or not, and then they will just kind of install it. And we had to actually treat that chemically because it was very localized problem. So, but we had to do that. I have seen issues with electricals down the line in the newer homes. In the beginning, everything will work, but some of the switches that you may not need in the beginning, they may start causing problems down the line, and they may not be wired correctly, because at the end of the day, it's to err is human, and the human beings are building the homes, and you will see those problems. So it's always a good idea to get the inspections done, where it's a new home or a existing home.
Got it.
Yeah.
So can you actually use these inspections as a negotiation tool, or just
of course. I mean, like I mentioned in the beginning, of course they are going to be there to protect yourself, but they can also be used as a negotiations tool. So after you complete the evaluations, you find that the house has a damage worth of say $5,000 or $10,000. I mean, you may get scared and may just decide to back out. But then if you are committed to buying the home, I will actually start negotiating that with the seller and say, hey, Mr. Seller, we are paying you X amount on the house, a lot higher than everybody else is, and these are the problems with the house, and we need to address those because we are ready to close in next 10 days. Either you give back the house to somebody else and wait for 30 days, or get your money in 10 days and fix whatever is required.
Absolutely. Let's take this next call, Amit.
Sure.
Hello, you're on air?
Hi, my question is, I just turned on the radio. You're telling about the new houses and old houses. You're talking about here or India? Because we cannot think about that's going to happen in India because the faulty wires, whatever, that's happened over here too. But I think if I buy the old house, they know already that's not going to happen anything. But I get the problem, I was living in the new house too. So how you can compare old house and new houses?
I'm kind of lost. I mean, can you just put your question in one sentence because... sorry.
I think the question was, are we talking about homes over here or are we talking about India?
Oh, I see. We are, of course, talking about homes over here in the United States. I'm licensed only in the state of California, so we are talking about the homes in state of California. And if you have a question about the homes in India, I mean, it's a completely whole new ball game up there. It's all supply limited, builder-driven pricing. And if they don't get their money, they don't sell. I mean, it's that's how it happens, and they get their money one way or the other.
Right. So you mentioned something earlier was about sellers' disclosures as well. What are those disclosures, Amit? I mean, I didn't know that sellers also have disclosures.
Right.
Matter.
See, the thing is, what happens is when you do your inspections. You are doing it in a certain time frame in time. So those inspections are true as of Tuesday, 2 o'clock. Okay, maybe after 2 o'clock, after you finish the inspection, the leak happened. You don't know that. Okay, so the inspections are like for a specific time. But you want to know about the house. You want to know how the house behaves when you actually live in it. Imagine a seller tells you, if we actually prepare a long questionnaire for the seller and say, Mr. Seller, answer all these questions, because with the experience that we have over the years, we have prepared these questions, and we will ask seller, hey, can you tell us about any plumbing issues and any leaks? And the seller may say, oh, maybe not that, but our sewage kind of gets backed up every 3 months. And if their sewage gets backed up and they have to actually get a plumber or and he will actually run the snake through and clean it up, and it runs really fine, and he just spends $400. The guy is really nice and this and that, and I'll give you his number also, because so that in case in future you have a problem, I'll do that. Seller may say that, but look at it this way, okay? That means extra $1,600 worth of expense on that home on your part if you buy that home. Now, if you go to a farmer's insurance or some other insurance company and try to buy the home insurance, you are actually negotiating whether you should pay $750 or $800 per year. Right. And now suddenly you are willing to pay $1,600 without even thinking. So you have to have some level of sanity in this whole process, and that's what basically the seller's disclosures will come into play. And that's all again based on all our comprehensive list and other things that we have.
Right. But एक बार ये होता है कि lot of these sellers अपने पूरे house को decorate बड़ा अच्छे से करते हैं. They'll paint it, remodel it, and the homes look really, really beautiful. How does one even suspect कि कुछ गड़बड़ होगी? There might be some issues there.
Imagine, I don't know any seller actually really doing that, but imagine a situation where there was a water stain because of the leak on the wall, and seller just chose to paint it. Okay, and he painted it. And it looks really nice. And now I actually remember we had a situation like that. This was a house up in Weibel Elementary, and which was up in the hills, and it was nicely painted from outside. And we had our termite guy come in, and he started poking the wood. And the wood was so damaged, the only thing that was covering the wood was the paint layer. So you can actually peel it off and you can see something inside. So seller did actually do that. We had around, I would say, $17,000 worth of damage on this $1.2 million home.
Oh my God.
And so you really don't want to just accept just because it looks good on the surface. Some of the other questions that we ask also, so some of these disclosures that seller may have are intentional, some are non-intentional. But the thing is, we have to make sure we ask seller those questions. We may ask the question, hey, Mr. Seller, is there a death in the property? And the seller may say no, or some may say, oh, there was a death, there's a grandma died, and how old was she? Oh, she was 95 years old. And he may say, well, that's the part of life, people are born, they die and all that. So it's okay. But what if she was murdered at age 95? Would you feel the same comfort level to buy that house? What if a young kid, like maybe a 25-year-old kid, committed suicide? Would you feel comfortable living in a house? I mean, it depends on your comfort zone. I don't know what's true, what's not, but the thing is, we have to ask all the questions, and the seller has to give all the answers to make sure you as a buyer, when you're committing large sums of money, your money is protected. And also you have to protect the seller. If I'm representing the seller, I had a situation like this for a home I sold in Fremont just a year and a half ago. The buyer went to the house and said, at 10 o'clock at night I drove by and there was a light inside. Then I drove by again at 5 o'clock in the morning and there was no light. Was there a date in the property? And I said, that's kind of weird question to ask. And I said, so I asked my seller, and he said no. He said he was there actually at night trying to clean it up and stuff. But then he said, but 5 years ago, there was a person who kind of took overdose of medicine and he committed suicide. And I said, but the real estate law requires only 3 years, so that's why I didn't tell you. Now I have a dilemma. My dilemma is, should I tell that to everybody else? And the rule that I follow in real estate, if you are in doubt, you always disclose. Okay, you do not hide anything. So I told my client, I said, what if the buyer moves in and the neighbors start talking about it?
Right.
The buyer will say, in his mind, the value of the property, not what he paid for. So let's get that thing done. So those are the questions that we have to ask on an ongoing basis.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amit. हमारे पास बहुत सारे questions हैं, but unfortunately we can't take all of them. It's a jam-packed show. जितने भी हमारे listeners हैं, for some reason, if you can't give us a call right now, in fact, time अभी खत्म हो गया है. All you have to do is go on to ownsweethome.net and you'll find a tab where you can actually post a question, and we'll take that up in the next show. All you have to do is go on to Own Sweet Home. That is like owning a very sweet home.net. If you forget everything else, all you have to do is just Google Amit Inamdar and you'll find all his information there. You can also give him a call at 510-364-6686. हम हमेशा 4 o'clock sharp आ जाते हैं स्टूडियो लाइन में. That is every Friday. So you can wait and tune in to our show next Friday at 4 o'clock. Till then, you can keep listening to Radio Zindagi और खुद से कहिए जिए जा.
The views, opinions, and statements expressed in the preceding program reflect the views of the program contributors and do not necessarily reflect the views of AAA Broadcasting LLC and its management or its sponsors.